Do you know what the worst part of developing a game is? Project organization. At first, it seems manageable doing some sketches and jotting down notes, but after a while, it becomes a literal nightmare. Now, I've spent years trying to find a better system to plan out and organize my games, but honestly, they never stuck. But like a cooling breeze on a hot summer's day, the perfect tool appeared to me. The one, the only, Milanote. So today I want to talk about my new and improved method for staying on track using Milanote and how it's been crucial for my game Blizzard Blowout 64. Our story begins in 2009 when I just started getting into game development. I was trying to find software or some sort of way to stay organized with my project, and at the time I was using pen and paper, which worked perfectly fine for small projects. But after doing that for a couple of years, I just found that I couldn't work on larger projects. It was way too hard for me to keep track of all these little pieces of paper, let alone know where I was at in the project, and it just became really overwhelming. So after years and years of using paper, I finally decided to look up some software that I could use to organize my projects better. This is when I entered the trial and error period. I would try out a piece of software for a month or two, and I ended up not liking it and move on to something else. Finally, a friend of mine told me that I should use Trello because the Kanban board was a cool way of seeing progression. The problem is, Trello just becomes a wall of text after a while, and it feels like organizing a dictionary instead of managing a game. I need pictures when I organize. So after literally 12 years of searching, I finally gave up. I just thought, eventually I'll write my own software, but for now, I'm just gonna use Notepad. How about that? Until that one fateful day when I was watching a devlog from my fellow friend and game developer, Andrew. And at first, I was wary because I thought, not another piece of software that's gonna break my heart. But boy, was I wrong. I started using Milanote at the beginning of this year, and it has completely revolutionized the way that I work. It is seriously one of the best project organization tools I've ever seen that I reached out to Milanote to work with me on this video. So you may be asking yourself, that's great and all, but why do I like Milanote so much? And how did it help me organize Blizzard Blowout? Well, there's three main reasons why. The first thing is Milanote's boards within boards feature. Now, a lot of organization apps have tabs and little things you can drag in, but what's cool is Milanote's almost like a corkboard, and you can pin things and drag things around, and you can kind of design it visually. You can actually have boards within inside of boards, and you almost have to think of them as folders. Now, before I was using Milanote, I used to have all my sketches and artwork and design and scripts and music and concepts all in these different places, and I would lose track where things were at. I would actually take notes like 3 times, not knowing I already wrote them down somewhere else, and it was just a huge headache. But now I can lay out my folder structure, and I can have different sections for different topics, so I'm not overwhelmed by all the information on one screen like you will with a Trello board, and instead I could have specific information, maybe for a level, maybe for an area, or maybe for a general topic for like enemies, and I can separate those out, and it's so much easier for me to process and understand. Now, my second point is the Freeform Canvas. Now, I kind of already just alluded to this, but the ability to drag, organize, arrange, design your board is incredible. And I personally really like Kanban boards, but like I said, they become overwhelming. So instead, I could design it with some images, put the sound effects for my characters, or even just brainstorm and sketch on a board, but it's way faster to format and organize your tasks. This has actually been a super crucial feature for the Firith team with us developing Blizzard Blowout. We're able to brainstorm and mood board new areas and concepts, and it's amazing how even if I'm not at a brainstorm with my team, I can still get across the ideas that they were coming up with just because of how they laid out their canvas. Now, the third and final point is the built-in templates are phenomenal. Now, here's the thing. I'm a graphic designer and I like things to look nice and neat, but you shouldn't spend all this time trying to make your boards look neat. You should be actually working on your game. And the great thing about the templates is you don't have to design these layouts. They're already made, especially if you're not a designer. You need a storyboard, boom. What about world building? They already have it. I've literally not been in a situation where they don't have a template for something that I need. Now, I understand that for some people, maybe you are more text-based, maybe you just like writing, maybe you don't like images at all. That's fine. What's great about Milanote is you have the flexibility to kind of sketch out and design the board that you want, but I just find that laying out all the artwork and seeing it and seeing your progress is way more productive for me than it is just a wall of text. We've even been using it to keep track of our sprints of the goals we want to achieve overall for our game and the goals we want to achieve in the next couple of weeks. And I know I may seem a little overexcited about all this, but that's just because I can't tell you how frustrating it's been in the past. This is one of the things that has tripped me up time and time again. And if you've been in the same boat as me where you've been jumping around and you just can't find a good system, I highly recommend checking out Milanote. It's free to use and it's been fantastic so far. Now, I talked a little bit about Blizzard Blowout, but I don't want to spoil too much. All I'll say is that development has been coming along nicely. I created a list for all the new characters I would like to add and made a list of the sound effects and modeling and the art that we would need for them. And what's also been so fun about this project is working with the Firith team. I had Keeyp and Floof designing levels, while Bonzo and Bread were brainstorming ideas for hub world locations in Milanote. Right now, we're almost out of phase 1 of the project, which is the rough draft, the engine of the game. After this point, it's just refining and improving and polishing, which in itself can be time consuming, but is a lot easier when the base game is done. Blizzard Blowout 64 is coming along smoothly, and it's totally because of this new project management system. Organization is so important, and it can be boring sometimes, but doesn't always have to be. Have fun with it, play around with it, be creative, but make sure you organize, because that's when scope creep and all these other things and side projects come into play, because you're not focused on what the core of your game is. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any other specific questions on how I manage tasks or organize stuff for the team, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm very passionate about this subject. If not, I thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Also, a huge shout out to Skides, Rybread, Remtain, Luke the Duke, James Albert, and Heath Sargent, and the rest of the fantastic Patreon supporters. These videos wouldn't be possible without your guys' support, and I appreciate you guys so much. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll see you next time for another game dev adventure.